Alas, dear one, this table is reserved solely for those of kin. With a sly grin, my mother gestured toward a fold-out chair nestled beside the trash can, a curious sight indeed. Amidst the laughter that filled the air, a moment of tension arrived as the $4,600 bill was presented. The waiter's gaze fell upon me, and with a knowing smile, I declared, "Not my table." On that fateful night, the course of destiny shifted irrevocably. With a warm smile, the maitre d' gracefully drew out the velvet-lined chairs, one after another, for my family. Each seat was positioned to face a candlelit table, elegantly set with crystal glasses and gold-trimmed menus, creating an atmosphere of enchantment. In a quaint corner of the bustling town, there existed a restaurant so unique that it beckoned patrons only once a year if fortune smiled upon them. And so it was on this very year that we gathered to celebrate my mother's birthday. In a grand gathering, each person adorned themselves with elegance, their attire a testament to their desire to shine and captivate the hearts of those around them. In a world where elegance reigned supreme, my brothers donned their tailored suits, each stitch whispering tales of sophistication, while my sister glided gracefully in her designer dress, a vision of style that captured the essence of beauty. For weeks, I had meticulously set aside my coins, each one a small promise, all in anticipation of this very night. The vision was clear, a simple black outfit and elegant heels, the perfect ensemble to mark the occasion. As I stepped into the room, a mere 5 minutes behind schedule, I wore a smile and began to search for a place to settle in. As I gazed into the depths of my mother's eyes, a silent connection formed between us, a moment suspended in time. In the stillness of the air, a chill enveloped the world, whispering secrets of winter's embrace. With careful thought and precision, with a sly smile dancing upon her lips, she gestured behind her, inviting curiosity to follow her lead. "Oh, my dear," she exclaimed, her voice rising to fill the entire room. "Gather round, for this table is reserved for family alone." As I stood there, a wave of bewilderment washed over me, and I blinked, trying to make sense of it all. With a graceful gesture, she directed attention to a solitary fold-out chair, the kind that creaks and groans, crafted from humble metal. There it stood, a peculiar sight nestled beside the service station, just a stone's throw from the bustling kitchen door that swung back and forth, and the ever-present trash bin, a silent witness to the comings and goings of weary travelers. From the depths of our shared moments, laughter danced and flowed among my siblings. My aunt brought her hand to her mouth, as if to stifle a bubbling laughter that danced just beneath the surface. My father remained oblivious, his gaze fixed elsewhere, as if the world around him had faded into the background. In that fleeting moment, I found myself frozen, my heart racing like a wild drum, my cheeks aflame with embarrassment, yearning for a voice to break the silence and declare it all a mere jest. Ah, indeed, I found my seat at the grand table, a place where I truly belonged. Yet, in the end, not a soul took action. With a silent agreement, I nodded, biting my lip in contemplation. I made my way over, the chill of the chair greeting me as I settled into it, words escaping me in that moment. Before me lay a wall, marred by stains of time, while a diligent busboy busied himself, gathering the remnants of meals long enjoyed. From behind, the cheerful clinking of glasses mingled with the sound of hearty laughter, weaving a tapestry of joy in the air. In the midst of the bustling crowd, not a single soul paused to inquire about my well-being, nor did they consider whether I desired a menu to peruse. As the waiter glided by, I offered him a smile, a fleeting moment of connection. I ordered a sparkling water, then settled into my seat, fighting back the tears that threatened to spill. I told myself the sting in my eyes was merely a reaction to the harsh scent of bleach and the remnants of garbage that lingered in the air. On that fateful night, a transformation stirred within my very being. Little did I realize, in that very moment, that chair would not be the throne of my humiliation. In the dawn of time, a new chapter was unfolding. It is often said that the gaze of a mother leaves an indelible mark upon the heart, a look that lingers in the memory long after the moment has passed. And so it was that I never experienced it, for my mother's gaze was devoid of the warmth of love. Her gaze fell upon me, heavy with the weight of judgment, as if I were a superfluous presence, an unwelcome burden she was forced to bear. In the days of my youth, our abode stood as a beacon of perfection, its exterior gleaming with an allure that captivated all who passed by. In a quaint little abode, a white picket fence stood proudly, framing a world filled with cherished moments. Family portraits adorned the mantel, each one telling a story of laughter and love. Birthday parties unfolded like scenes from a glossy magazine, vibrant and joyous, capturing the essence of celebration. Yet, beneath those shining smiles, a hidden truth lay, festering like an unhealed wound. In the vast expanse of the night sky, my siblings shone like the brightest stars, each one a unique beacon of light and wonder. In the heart of our family, there stood my older brother, Nathan, a shining beacon of excellence. With straight A's adorning his report cards and the title of football captain gracing his name, he was the pride of us all, a true golden boy in every sense. My younger sister, Ivy, was the little princess, showered in praise, always in new dresses, always getting her way. And what of me? I was the helper, the one who set the table, cleared the plates, ironed the uniforms, ran the errands. It seems I was left out of the conversation. It was as if the very air was thick with anticipation, for I was awaited. Whenever I dared to voice my grievances, my mother would flash that sly, knowing smile and utter, "Be useful, Rhea. It seems that there isn't much else in your favor, is there?" In those moments, when I sought my father's guidance, he would merely cast a fleeting glance at his newspaper, shift uncomfortably in his chair, and feign ignorance of my silent plea. In the realm of quietude, silence reigned supreme, a craft honed to perfection. I remember once I made a handmade birthday card for my mom. At the tender age of 7, I poured my heart into a creation that consumed my hours. With vibrant colors dancing across the page, I penned a heartfelt poem within and delicately crafted tiny paper hearts to adorn the edges, each one a labor of love. With a gentle flick of her wrist, she unveiled the contents, her gaze lingering for but a fleeting moment before she cast it aside, as though it were nothing more than a forgotten receipt. There was no smile to be found. "Thank you, but I must decline." On that very night, Ivy presented her with a humble necklace, one chosen with the gentle guidance of their father. As the gift was unveiled, tears of joy cascaded down my mother's cheeks, as if she had been bestowed with a diamond plucked from the heavens themselves. Yet, my spirit remained unyielding, never wavering in its pursuit. In the quiet corridors of my school, I toiled with unwavering determination, yearning for a glimmer of recognition from those around me. At the tender age of 16, I embarked on a journey into the world of work, seeking a part-time job that would grant me the means to purchase my own clothes. I believed that this newfound independence might just win me the respect I longed for. Yet, all it accomplished was to cloak me in a shroud of invisibility, revealing new dimensions of my unseen existence. "What is it that keeps you from embodying the essence of Nathan?" She would pose the question. "Why is it that you cannot embody the elegance of Ivy?" It was more than mere favoritism. In a quiet, relentless manner, the world began to wear me down, and I found myself ceasing the search for love. Instead, I began to gauge my value by the depths of my endurance. As she gestured towards that chair nestled beside the trash can, a sense of familiarity washed over me, for it was not a surprise at all. It merely solidified the whispers of doubt that had lingered in the corners of my mind all along. Once upon a time, I found myself on the outskirts of a gathering, never truly belonging to the table where stories were shared and laughter echoed. As the clock struck midnight on my 18th birthday, I took my first steps into a new chapter of my life, leaving behind the familiar and embracing the unknown. In that moment, there was a quiet departure, devoid of the theatrics of farewell, and not a single tear was shed at the threshold. There I stood, a solitary figure with nothing but a duffel bag in hand, slipping away into the night, unnoticed and unchallenged by those left behind. My mother, with a knowing glance, simply let me slip away into the world beyond our doorstep, never inquiring about my destination. My father, a man of few words, never bestowed upon me the gifts of wealth or counsel. Unbeknownst to Nathan and Ivy, a subtle shift had taken place around them. It seems unlikely that their eyes ever wandered from the glowing screens before them. I was not fleeing from anything. In that moment, I found the courage to break my chains, embracing the thrill of stepping boldly into the vast, uncharted territory that lay ahead. In the early days, the journey was nothing short of a fierce battle. By day, I found myself amidst the bustling world of a gas station where the hum of engines and the chatter of customers filled the air. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I transformed into a server, weaving through tables and sharing smiles with diners. In the quiet moments between these two lives, I buried myself in my studies, seeking knowledge like a treasure hidden in the pages of books. In the span of weeks, my sustenance was reduced to the humble fare of instant noodles and the bitter warmth of coffee. In a humble one-room apartment, where the paint clung to the walls like memories of better days, I found myself braving the chill of a world without warmth. Winters descended like a heavy cloak, wrapping the world in a chill that felt almost like a trial to endure. Yet I pressed on, for in the absence of support, I found my strength in sheer determination. Once upon a time, there was a dream that danced just out of reach, a vision of college life that felt like a distant star in the night sky, shimmering with possibilities I never thought I could grasp. Yet, despite the odds, I took the plunge and submitted my application. Once upon a time, a young scholar embarked on a journey filled with dreams and aspirations, and to fuel this quest for knowledge, they took on the weight of student loans. In a quest for opportunity, I set forth on a journey, applying for every scholarship that crossed my path. As the moon cast its silvery glow, I would immerse myself in my studies, the hours slipping away like grains of sand. With only 3 fleeting hours of sleep, I would rise to greet the dawn and embark on my shift, ready to face the day ahead. Though the vibrant celebrations of parties, the joyous laughter of holidays, and the heartfelt gatherings of birthdays passed me by, I steadfastly held my ground, refusing to let the tides of time sweep me away. With each test I conquered and every class I triumphed in, it was as if I had claimed a hidden victory, a quiet celebration of my efforts. It felt as though I was crafting a world of my own, in silence, hidden from the eyes of others. And yet, amidst all the trials and tribulations, my heart remained steadfast, reaching out to the familiar echoes of home. In the celebration of birthdays, I would send forth cards, each one a little messenger of joy and well wishes. During the festive season, I sent out little treasures, each one carefully chosen and filled with meaning. On the cherished day dedicated to mothers, I reached out, leaving heartfelt voicemails in the silence that followed when no one answered my call. With great excitement, I shared the news of my associate degree, and soon after, the joyous announcement of my bachelor's degree followed. Silence lingered in the air, devoid of replies or congratulations. In that moment, there was nothing but silence. Yet I pressed on, undeterred. For deep within my heart, that little girl lingered, still yearning for the warmth of her mother's approval. In the depths of my heart, I held onto a flicker of hope that one day, they would gaze upon me and recognize more than just the helper, the errand girl, the fleeting shadow captured in family photos. There was no need for their applause as I navigated the winding path of my struggle. All I longed for was for them to witness it. In the quiet moments, when the world pauses just for a heartbeat, We gather our thoughts and let them flow like a gentle stream, whispering, "We are proud of you, Rhea." Yet, that day remained elusive, forever just beyond the horizon. In the stillness of my own sanctuary, I discovered the art of applauding my own spirit, a gentle celebration that echoed softly within. With a sense of accomplishment, I carefully framed my diploma and hung it on the wall of my modest apartment. In that quiet moment, I whispered to myself, "You did it." And so, I returned to the realm of my labor. Though they may have let my memory fade, my heart held on to theirs, steadfast and unyielding. Ah, love, that wondrous enigma that dances through our lives. Sometimes, the echoes of feelings linger on, even when they go unanswered. Yet, a transformation begins to unfold. There I was, perched upon that unsteady fold-out chair beside the trash can, putting on a brave face as I battled the feeling of being just as discarded myself. In a realm where elegance reigned supreme, the restaurant stood as a beacon of opulence. Crystal glasses sparkled like stars in the night sky, while white linen napkins draped gracefully across the tables. The silverware, a collection of exquisite pieces, whispered tales of luxury that felt far beyond the reach of my humble budget and attire. In that moment, I found myself drawn to a dress of simplicity, its elegance whispering promises of grace. Though not a designer, it possesses an air of elegance. As I stepped through the door, my sister Ivy's eyes swept over me, and with a playful smirk, she quipped, "Did you snag that from a thrift store clearance rack?" Amidst the gathering, a ripple of laughter danced through the air as the others shared a light-hearted moment. Not even my mother stood up for me. With a delicate sip of her wine, she looked up and remarked, "Well, at least you made the effort." As I savored the moment, an unexpected sharpness caught me off guard. I bit my tongue. From my recent journey to the bustling city of Chicago, where I had triumphantly sealed my first significant deal, I returned with small treasures in hand, souvenirs to share with them. Once upon a time, there was a thoughtful soul who set out on a quest to find the perfect gifts. For dear Dad, a charming little leather wallet was chosen, a treasure to hold his memories. For beloved Mom, a delightful perfume was selected, a fragrant embrace to remind her of love. And for the spirited siblings, Nathan and Ivy, custom keychains were crafted, each a unique token of their bond. It may not carry a hefty price tag, yet it resonates with thoughtfulness and a personal touch. As I distributed them, their eyes barely flickered in their direction. Nathan raised his hand and declared, "Do I look like I need a keychain?" Before flinging it back onto the table as if it were nothing more than a discarded napkin. In a moment steeped in anticipation, Ivy chose not to unveil her own treasure. In a bustling diner, my father, caught up in the moment, set his wallet down on the booth's worn surface as he made his way to the restroom, unaware of the small adventure that was about to unfold. With a sigh that spoke volumes, my mother rolled her eyes and muttered under her breath, as she often did, caught in the web of her own expectations. Yet a smile graced my lips. In my quest for connection, I endeavored to weave myself into the tapestry of their conversations. In a moment of curiosity, the conversation turned to Ivy's enchanting wedding plans, Nathan's charming new condo, and the delightful vacation my parents were embarking upon. They responded, yes, but it felt as though they were conversing with a stranger, a long-lost relative whose face had faded from memory. There shall be no inquiries that follow. There was a chilling absence of warmth. In that moment, Ivy inquired about the pursuits that filled my days. I perked up, heart hopeful. In the realm of properties and dreams, I shared my journey, saying, "I have been navigating the world of real estate." In a moment of ambition and determination, I embarked on a new journey and launched a small property firm. "That's nice," Mom interjected, her voice laced with concern, "but it must be quite tiring to carry that burden all by yourself." In the grand tapestry of life, there are those who seem destined to embrace the shadows of mediocrity, content to wander the paths of the ordinary. Once upon a time, in a quaint little room, the table let out a hearty laugh. I gave a slight nod, masking the sting that lingered beneath the surface. As if I had not conjured something from the very void, crafting it with my own hands from the essence of nothingness. In a world where the weight of my hard work often went unnoticed, I found myself slipping into the role of a master of disguise, pretending that the shoes on my feet, purchased with the fruits of my labor, were mere figments of imagination. Each step echoed the long hours spent toiling away, 14-hour days dedicated to ensuring my clients' smiles shone bright. They laughed, but their mirth echoed differently, a distant reminder of that fateful day when I was just 13, the moment I clumsily spilled juice on Ivy's dress. In the whispers of the crowd, they labeled me clumsy, deemed me useless, and painted me as a source of embarrassment. As I took a gentle sip of my water, my gaze fell upon the napkin before me, and I fought to blink away the sharp sting that lingered behind my eyes. In the shadows, I lingered, unnoticed by their eyes. Alas, not quite. And in that moment, a dawning awareness washed over me, revealing that they had never truly been there at all. As the last remnants of dessert were whisked away, a warm wave of laughter lingered in the air. Empty wine bottles adorned the table, standing proudly like trophies, each one a testament to their evening of indulgence. With a gleam in his eye and a polished smile, the waiter approached, gracefully presenting the bill nestled within a sleek black leather folder. Without a moment's pause, my mother took action. With a voice that danced between lightness and sharpness, she declared her intent to pay, her perfectly manicured nail aimed squarely in my direction. "Didn't you mention that you've come into some money now?" The words landed with a sting, sweet on the surface, yet leaving a mark beneath. All eyes at the table shifted in my direction. As I stood there, a moment of uncertainty washed over me, and I blinked, questioning whether I had truly heard her words correctly. "What is it that I seek?" Nathan let out a hearty chuckle, leaning back comfortably in his chair. "Gather round, dear Rhea, for the tale awaits." The tale of a big shot in the realm of real estate, is it? A figure of ambition and success, navigating the intricate world of properties and investments. As my eyes fell upon the bill, a sudden jolt surged through my heart. $4,600. In a grand celebration, they feasted upon succulent steaks, indulged in towering seafood delights, savored endless bottles of exquisite wine, and delighted in custom desserts that were nothing short of masterpieces. Their table was a lavish spread. A true banquet of abundance. Half the items on the table remained untouched, their stories waiting to be discovered. In the midst of the lively exchange, I found myself swept away, too engrossed in the whirlwind of words to truly grasp their meaning. Engulfed in the act of swallowing pride, the days slipped by in a blur. As I cast my gaze upon my father, a world of stories unfolded in the depths of his eyes. He averted his gaze, as if the weight of the world rested upon his shoulders. With a subtle shift of his glasses, he seemed to convey that this matter was not his concern at all. In the dim light of the room, Ivy sat quietly, her fingers dancing across the screen of her phone, hidden from view beneath the table. My mother cradled her fourth glass of wine, the liquid swirling like secrets in the dim light, and bestowed upon me a smile that danced on the edge of something unspoken, a smile that felt more like a whisper than a greeting. "What troubles your heart?" With a curious glint in her eye, she posed the question. "Once upon a time, you spoke of your well-being, declaring that all was well in your world." Yes, in a moment of reflection, I spoke those words, for I was managing well enough. Yet, the thought of spending $4,600 on individuals who do not hold me in esteem felt utterly misplaced. Yet, deep within me, there lingered that familiar pull, a yearning to be more, to demonstrate my value, to earn the recognition of being truly worthy at last. From the moment I became aware of the subtle shifts in their voices, the way they spoke to me compared to my siblings, I found myself on a quest, pursuing that elusive understanding with unwavering determination. With a deep inhale and then another, I turned my gaze to the waiter, a smile blossoming on my lips. Alas, that table does not belong to me. With a slow, deliberate blink, the waiter paused, as if caught in a moment of contemplation. My sincerest apologies. With a subtle shift, I leaned in, my voice soft and soothing, like a whisper carried on the breeze. "This isn't my table," I repeated, my voice echoing in the stillness of the room. In that moment, I found myself standing apart, a solitary figure amidst the crowd, declaring, "I am not with them." As the last echoes of laughter faded away, a hush enveloped the table, wrapping each person in a moment of stillness. My mother's jaw clenched, a silent storm brewing within her. "Pray tell, what is it that you speak of?" "I wasn't invited," I declared, as I pushed my chair back with a sense of finality. There was no warm embrace awaiting me. In a moment that felt like an eternity, I found myself drowning in a sea of humiliation, besieged by insults, and cast aside as if I were nothing more than a whisper in the wind. Alas, I must decline the offer to cover the cost of this evening's meal, for the simple reason that it does not belong to me. All of this belongs to another, not to me. As I stood there, I gently smoothed down the fabric of my dress, feeling the soft texture beneath my fingers. Nathan let out a derisive laugh, a sound that echoed with disbelief. Ah, what a moment of wonder! Oh, how the winds of emotion swirl and dance, casting shadows of intensity upon the stage of life. Is it not a spectacle to behold? Not a glance was cast in his direction. The waiter cast a glance toward the others, a flicker of uncertainty dancing in his eyes. With a gentle whisper, I proclaimed, "They shall divide it." Without a doubt, they possess the means to make it happen. In the end, they are bound by the ties of family. With a decisive turn, I strode away, the sharp clicks of my heels echoing against the polished marble, my heart pounding with each step. Not with shame this time, but with a feeling that had long been absent in their presence. In the vast expanse of existence, there lies a treasure known as freedom, a gift that dances on the winds of possibility, inviting all to embrace its boundless embrace. At long last, never did I find myself on my knees, pleading for acceptance. Alas, the role had not yet graced my presence. And so I took my leave, stepping away into the unknown. And in that moment, it seemed to me that the wealth I felt was far greater than any sum that could ever be found in a bank account. I paused, allowing the hush to envelop me, heavy and thick, much like a storm cloud looming over the elegantly adorned table. With expressions caught in time, their faces were a tableau of surprise, forks suspended in the air, and mouths slightly agape, as if the very moment had woven a spell around them. The air was heavy, a palpable weight that could be sliced through with the very steak knives they had so extravagantly employed. "I am not family," I declared, with a voice that flows like a gentle stream, calm and soothing. "Do you recall? Alas, that table does not belong to me." In that moment, a stillness enveloped the scene, as if time itself had paused. No soul dared to stir. With a courteous nod to the waiter, I gracefully turned away, leaving the moment behind me. With each step, the sound of my heels echoed with unwavering confidence. Not a single tremor passed through me. With determination in my heart, I forged ahead, leaving the past behind me, never glancing back. From behind, a soft shuffle reached my ears. My mother whispered a secret, her words slipping through her lips like a shadow in the night. With a sudden intake of breath, my sister's eyes widened in surprise. In a moment of frustration, my brother let out a curse. Yet I found myself moving forward, gliding past the shimmering chandeliers, the alluring wine display, and the haunting reflection of the girl who had always stood on the sidelines, unseen. Once upon a time, that was the case, but now things have changed. As I approached the hostess' stand, a waiter hurriedly joined me, a separate bill clasped in his hand. With a gentle smile, I reached out and accepted it. "I appreciate you taking the time to separate it," I remarked, retrieving my card from a stylish clutch. I had a sense of how the night would unfold. He nodded with a kindness that felt almost too generous. "You don't deserve that," I said with a casual shrug. "They've been rehearsing that act for years." With a flourish, I tipped generously, enough to make his eyes widen in surprise. "Divide the remainder fairly," I declared, gesturing to the disarray I had created. "They are family, after all." As I ventured outside, the cool breeze embraced my skin. It was as if one had finally emerged from the depths, taking that first, life-giving breath after an eternity submerged beneath the waves. Not a single tear fell from my eyes. I moved forward without a hint of doubt. Within those walls, I could envision the chaos unfolding, the frantic shouts for the waiter, the heated debates, and the inevitable way my mother would later weave the tale to cast herself as the wronged party. Yet, that matter no longer weighed on my mind. Alas, this seat does not belong to me. It was not the sound of my laughter that filled the air. It is not a burden that belongs to me. That table does not belong to me. As I strolled towards my car, the familiar click of the unlocking door echoed in the stillness. In that moment, a wave of empowerment washed over me. For the first time in years, I felt the reins of my own narrative firmly in my grasp, reclaiming the tale they had once tried to erase. And lo, my tale was far from over. It was precisely 1 week later when the shrill sound of my phone broke the silence. As I gazed intently at the screen before me, a world of possibilities unfolded in the flickering light. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Arjun. Once upon a time, there was a brother. The phone continued to ring, echoing through the silence, but I chose to let it linger in the air, unanswered. But lo and behold, this time it was none other than Mother herself. And then there was my sister. It was then that Dad, who had not reached out to me in more than a year, chose to break the silence. The last time he had called, it was merely to request a favor, if I could swing by and pick up some dry cleaning while I happened to be nearby. Silence enveloped the moment, as I chose not to respond. Not a soul in sight. In that moment, I found myself entangled in a matter of great significance, one that demanded my full attention. In the heart of the glass conference room, a palpable energy hummed softly, weaving through the air like an unspoken promise. In a room adorned with polished wood and the faint scent of ambition, my legal team faced a gathering of sharply dressed executives, each clutching a pen as if it were a sword ready for battle. Before me lay the final draft of the acquisition, a culmination of efforts and negotiations that had brought us to this pivotal moment. As I turned the pages, a sense of calm enveloped me, my mind sharp and steady, just moments away from sealing a deal that would change everything. A 7-figure triumph awaited. In the quiet hours between night shifts and the weight of student loan payments, I nurtured a small but mighty startup, a dream forged from sheer determination. Now, that very venture was on the brink of being embraced by a national brand, a testament to the journey I had embarked upon. My platform soared to new heights. In the midst of uncertainty, a glimmer of opportunity caught the discerning eyes of investors who recognized the promise that lay ahead. Yet, beyond all else, I caught a glimpse of my own reflection. Completely. At long last. Once more, my phone vibrated, breaking the stillness of the moment. In that moment, a message emerged from the shadows. They swiped our cards, yet it fell short of what was needed. In a quiet corner of the bustling town, a restaurant took a moment to gather its thoughts and pen a report, a testament to the happenings within its walls. They spoke of a night where they feasted and vanished into the shadows. Would you be so kind as to return my call? Once upon a time, there was a young man named Arjun. I did not. In their minds, it was a certainty that I would answer, for I had always done so in the past. For I had always been the one to rescue them, to tidy up the chaos they left behind, silently enduring the shame they served me at every gathering. But what of that Rhea? She had vanished from the world, leaving no trace behind. In the depths of my thoughts, I had seen this moment coming. As I stepped away from that dinner, I didn't just leave them with the bill. I left them carrying the heavy burden of their own entitlement. In their minds, they believed that the fold-out chair was a fitting punishment for me. Little did they know the microphone was being passed into my hands. Once again, a message arrived, weaving its way into the tapestry of the day. Mother has spoken, and she believes you owe us a heartfelt apology. In a moment that caught us all off guard, you brought a blush to our cheeks, leaving us feeling exposed before the eyes of the world. What sort of daughter would embark on such a path? I nearly laughed. Apology? What kind of mother mocks her child and sits her next to garbage? What kind of family laughs at one of their own just because she wore a dress from clearance and not couture? My pen hit the final page. I signed. I smiled. At that moment, the true journey of my life was set in motion. As the night deepened, I found myself drawn to my email, eager to uncover what awaited within its digital confines. Countless rings echoing in the silence, each one a whisper of urgency left unanswered. Additional messages await. Once upon a time, a message was shared that spoke of an invitation, saying, "We were going to invite you to Mom's anniversary dinner." Yet perhaps, in the future, one might consider embracing a bit more resilience. Delicate and tender, like a whisper carried on the wind. How they would whisper that name. A gentle reminder of my tears that flowed when I found myself on the outside, yearning to be part of the circle. As I stepped out of the room to find a moment of solace. In a moment of courage, I spoke the words that revealed my pain. Yet, the veil of sensitivity had long since faded away. In the journey of my endeavors, I found triumph at last. And there they were, making a ruckus that echoed through the air. As I gently shut my laptop, a sense of calm washed over me, and I reached for a glass, filling it with the rich, crimson liquid of wine. As I stood there, the city lights danced like stars against the vast skyline, and I lifted my glass, honoring the tranquil silence that enveloped me. For the very first time, a warmth enveloped the heart, banishing the shadows of solitude. It felt like a hard-won treasure. In that moment, they called out for me, their voices echoing with urgency, yet here I stood, wrapped in the embrace of my own desires, finally tending to the long-neglected garden of my own soul. Upon the rooftop, the wind danced with a gentle grace, weaving through the air in a manner that felt just right. It was a day that held a gentle chill, just enough to remind one of the approaching winter, yet not so frigid as to deter the spirit. A perfect balance, where the air felt crisp and invigorating, inviting all to step outside and embrace the moment. It was just crisp enough to whisper that autumn had finally graced us with its presence. Above, golden string lights twinkled like stars in the night sky, while the smooth notes of a live jazz trio floated gently from the corner, wrapping the room in a warm embrace. Behind us, the skyline unfurled, a grand tapestry of boldness and beauty that took our breath away. Yet, the most enchanting aspect was not the panorama before us. It was the table, a silent witness to the tales that unfolded around it. Once upon a time, there lay a long, elegant table, draped in pristine white linen. It was adorned with fresh flowers that danced in the gentle breeze, and gleaming gold-trimmed plates that sparkled like treasures waiting to be discovered. In a room filled with anticipation, there lay 20 seats, each one waiting to be filled with stories yet to unfold. Each one of them held a soul who had witnessed my existence, cherished my being, and made the choice to embrace me. Not a single soul cracked a smile at my words. In that moment, I stood tall, my outfit a silent declaration of my presence, and not a single soul dared to question my right to belong. The air was thick with unspoken acceptance, and laughter was nowhere to be found. Because here I belonged. Across from me sat my co-founder, Ava. She raised her glass with a grin to the woman who closed a deal and a door in the same week. Laughter rippled around the table. My mentor, Mr. Kaplan, nudged my elbow. You've always had it in you, kid. It was time to cast aside the chains of hesitation and embrace the freedom of action, no longer bound by the need for approval. With a gentle nod, I absorbed every moment, letting it wash over me like a soft tide. In a realm where warmth envelopes the heart, where peace reigns supreme, and judgment is but a distant memory, one finds solace and serenity like no other. The evening's meal unfolded quietly, without the clamor or extravagance that often accompanies such gatherings. It was not destined to be that way. It belonged to me. Each guest was a companion who had journeyed alongside me through the ascent. In the tapestry of my journey, there exists an investor, a roommate who blossomed into a sister, and a barista whose kindness shone through with free coffee during my lean coding days. It was this very soul I later entrusted with the management of our new office, weaving our stories together in a beautiful narrative of support and growth. This tale was not woven from the threads of vengeance. In the heart of the tale, there lay a quest for acknowledgement. For years, I found myself pleading for mere morsels at a table where my presence was never truly desired. In a place where I found myself surrounded by refuse, both in the physical sense and deep within my heart. At long last, I had crafted a table of my own design, and there was no fold-out chair in sight. Halfway through dinner, Ava leaned in. "Did your family ever call again?" I smiled. They did. Wanted to talk things out. They spoke of the pain my actions had caused them. "Pray tell, what words did you just utter?" "I didn't," I replied, raising my glass high, for one mustn't feel compelled to explain oneself to those who cherish only the quiet moments. All present nodded in agreement. They grasped it, for they understood the essence of soaring high, never needing to descend to justify their value. As the final course graced the table, delicate slices of cardamom cake and exquisite handmade truffles made their grand entrance. With a gentle rise, I lifted my glass and gave it a soft tap, calling for attention. With a voice that danced between softness and strength, I expressed my gratitude, thanking you for recognizing me before the world had a chance to cast its gaze. For the resounding applause that echoed when victory was mine. And there you were, gathered around this table, not out of obligation, but driven by the desire to be together. And then, like a wave crashing upon the shore, a chorus of cheers erupted, glasses lifted high in joyous celebration. As I gazed upon the twinkling city lights, my heart turned back to the faces of my people gathered around me. My real family. That night, I didn't just host a dinner. I reclaimed every version of myself that ever felt small. I rewrote the rules. I sat at the head of a table that didn't just hold food, but history, healing, and a whole new beginning. And in that moment, with the stars above and laughter around me, I knew one thing for sure. I was never the problem. I just outgrew their table.